What up, what up, what up, Lakers Nation? Lakers Nation, salute to all of you. Welcome back to Lakers Over Everything. Purple and gold till we die. Purple and gold we ride. I bleed purple. My heart beats gold. It is and always will be. Lakers Over Everything. So here we are. The wait is over. Free agency is here, baby. It is free agency Monday. yes. In just a few short hours, it's all going down. Well, we're already seeing things go down. There's been a lot of action already, but it's only tampering when the Lakers do it, right? Free agency isn't set to kick off until 6 p.m. Eastern time. But we're already hearing deals going to hours before. So it's crazy, right? It's crazy. But nonetheless, man, we are here. I hope you guys are ready. It's going to be an exciting free agency. Expect a lot of things being done this free agency period. Not so much free agents being signed, because there's just not a lot of those out there, and then there's not a lot of money out there, so you're not going to see, a big superstar signing. The days of LeBron James signing with the Lakers and Kawhi Leonard signing with the Clippers and so on and so forth. That's not what this is going to be this year, but you'll get a lot of trades. I just think that's the way this new CBA is structured. That's just how it's going to be from now on, and you'll see guys signing with new teams and so on and so forth. However, with the Lakers, we're losing a guy. We're bracing to potentially lose Dorian Finney-Smith, DFS. We know on yesterday he opted out of his contract, so he had 1 year, the final year, for $15 million, the final year of his contract for $15 million. He could have opted in. He had three options. One, he could have opted in and played, on that $15 million tenure for the final season. The second option was him opting out, which he did. The third option was the Lakers extending him. Now, the Lakers, they were in negotiations with DFS and his management for weeks because he's on the team's contract. He was extension eligible for weeks. He's not just becoming extension eligible right now. He's been extension eligible since before, or when the Lakers were eliminated in the first round. So pretty much the entire playoffs, he's been extension eligible. And the fact that no extension news broke, I think we kind of had to prepare for this potential, something potentially happening with him leaving, right? The fact that they didn't reach an extension. And I think the reason why they didn't is because he wanted multi-years he wanted a multi-year deal. Now DFS is 32. He'll be 33 next season. So I believe he wanted at minimum a 3-year deal, because this could be his final season of making, big money. After this deal, after this contract, he may be on vet minimum contracts, right? So he's trying to look. This could be his final big payday, if you will. So yeah, he wanted multi-years on his deal, because after that, yeah, again, he might be entering into that vet minimum territory, because 2-3 years from now, or 3 years from now, he'll be 35, 36. So yeah, guys aren't going to pay a ton of money, for a 36, 37-year-old. That's vet minimum territory. So DFS, I love DFS the player. I loved his fit. I was very ecstatic when we got him, and I think he was big for the Lakers. Tremendous for the Lakers, right? The role that he played. Yeah, he's a little older, but there was still a role for him. He was still the best 3-and-D guy on the roster. And defensively, his days of guarding wings, like the 3s and 2s, are probably over with. But he was still very serviceable guarding 4s and even, in that small ball lineup that the Lakers like to play sometimes. So He's a guy that I would have loved to keep, but I honestly only wanted to keep him if he was opting into that final year of the deal. I didn't want to extend him, and here's why. Because extending him, say they came in and offered him a 3-year deal or even a 2-year deal, extending him means he's tying up the Lakers' cap space, future cap space, if you will. So if you extend him 3 years, guess what? He's taking up cap space for those 3 years, right? Now, if you do a 2-year extension next year, he's an expiring contract, and you probably could move him. But 3 years and beyond, that's tough. The Lakers are trying to keep their books clean. They're trying to keep that cap space open. They're trying to preserve their cap space so that they can make a run at a superstar, next summer or the summer after that. Next summer, they'll have a ton of cap space available. They'll have max cap space available, in fact. All these expiring contracts like Rui, Maxi Kleber, Gabe Vincent, potentially Austin Reeves, all that money will be off the books next summer. So they'll have max cap space available to pair a superstar with Luka Doncic, right? They don't want to do anything to jeopardize that. They don't want to do anything to take away from that. And extending extending DFS to a multi-year deal, well, guess what? That takes away from that. So that disrupts the cap space, the max cap space that you're trying to have. And not saying DFS is going to be a huge number. It's not, right? We're talking $15 million, somewhere around that full MLE money, $14, $15, $16 million at most, possibly even $13 million. So it's not a lot of money, but at the same time, it could be the difference between having a full MLE, having a full max cap space, right? Or having a max cap space slot and not having one. So, and then, say someone becomes available, a superstar becomes available, and, you're just a little bit short because you offered a guy like DFS money. Now you're looking to try to move him, and you're going to have to attach assets to do that. So I just think that they want a clear path to that, and the clearest path is just to not tie up that money. So DFS is just a casualty of that. I think the Lakers would love to have him back. We know he's great friends with Luka. We know LeBron likes him, and we've seen how well he fits with this organization, with this franchise, and what they have on the court, the players that they have on the court. So he's a piece that you definitely don't want to lose, especially considering the Lakers gave up assets to get him. They literally gave up 3 second-round picks to acquire DFS. Remember, he was in the deal with D'Lo, right? It was D'Lo and 3 seconds, for him, at the last year, just at the close of the year, just at the close of the 2024 year, they did that deal, the end of December or early January. So, and again, he was a perfect fit. So it's unfortunate. And now the news is coming out that Houston, they're prepared to offer DFS a 4-year deal. So we talked about 2 or 3 years. Houston's talking about 4 years. Now, some of that is to pry him away from the Lakers, which is understandable, but a 4-year deal is insane. That's insane. Tying up your books for 4 years is wild for DFS. So now you're talking 36, 37, and still having him on the books. Now, if it's out there, and there's no shaming DFS, again, this could potentially be his final big contract or decent contract before he enters into that minimum range salary. So, go get your money, man. Go get your money. And if Houston is going to give you 4 years, then by all means, take that. Take that, right? And then he's a great fit there. We know Houston, they lost Dylan Brooks in that deal. Now, DFS isn't the defender that Dylan Brooks still is, but you can see him as being a potential replacement there. And then they still have all their young guys too, so having DFS teach those young guys. We're talking about Thompson. We're talking about Jabari Smith. We're talking about Terry Eason. All those guys, teaching those guys how to be legit 3-and-D guys in this league is, although Thompson, I think he's much more than just that. All those guys, they're really good. So having DFS to teach those guys is tremendous, right? And Houston's they're definitely all in after acquiring a 37-year-old KD. They're all in to win now, and DFS is a solid piece to add to that. So, yeah, it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. And by losing DFS, it opens up not only the full MLE for the Lakers, so that $5.9 million taxpayer MLE that we thought that would be pretty much be the only thing the Lakers had. No, now that 5.9 jumps up to a full $14 million. So it opens up that full MLE, but it also opens up the biannual exception, which is another exception that the Lakers wouldn't have been able to use, had they kept DFS. So this could be a blessing in the skies, right? He walks away, you open up the full MLE, you open up the biannual exception now. Using that stuff will hard cap you at the first apron, but the Lakers should be able, it's going to be tight, but they should be able to fill out their roster before being hard capped at that apron. So it shouldn't have much of an effect. They should be okay. But again, you open up both of those exceptions. So, and now we all know the news of Deandre Ayton, right? We all heard that news. I don't think that's a coincidence at all. Soon as the Lakers, the possibility of the Lakers having their full MLE become available, Deandre Ayton is agreeing on a buyout, right? That's not a coincidence. I think there was some talking, which is totally fine. And to take that step even further, guess who Deandre Ayton's agent is? It's Bill Duffy. You know who also shares that agent? You know who Bill Duffy also represents? How about number 77 in the purple and gold, Luka the Don? So they share an agent. So yeah, it's not coincidence that all that happened at all. So I'm believing that there was some talk there, and now words coming out that Deandre wants to play for a contender or a winning team. He wants to be in a winning organization and in a winning situation. Well, yeah, we obviously know Deandre Ayton does have flaws. He does have issues. So he does have an image that needs to be repaired. But again, he's 26 years old. I don't think we just toss him out with the dirty bathwater at 26. Pairing him with a 26-year-old Luka Doncic, that could be a pairing, for a very long time. Those two work together very seamlessly, if you will. So I'm very excited about the potential of that, and I think it's a win-win situation for both sides, because for the Lakers, their options were Brook Lopez. That was the rumored option that they were going to go on and get. Well, Deandre Ayton is a lot better than a Brook Lopez. Brook has been great, a great career, but again, he's 37 years old, and he's not the athletic center that you want to put next to Luka Doncic. Deandre Ayton is a legit 7-footer. He's a legit double-double in this NBA. His NBA career, he's produced a legit double-double, right? The last time he played with a all-star, superstar caliber point guard or Hall of Famer type point guard was Chris Paul, and his numbers with Chris Paul were great. We're talking, they were all-star numbers, 18 points, 11 rebounds. Those were those numbers. I think he can produce those same numbers next to a Luka Doncic, right? We've seen the way Luka elevates bigs. We've seen the way he elevates those centers. And Deandre Ayton could potentially be one of the best talented centers that he's played with his entire career, aside from like a Kristaps Porzingis, right? Even more so than a Derek Lively. And we saw what he did with the Derek Lively. We saw what he did with Daniel Gafford. So just imagine what he could do with Deandre Ayton. So yeah, I'm very excited about the potential of those two pairing up. So you can go from just signing a stopgap center, a Capella or Brook Lopez or something like that, a guy, to potentially getting the guy, right? I think it's a very low risk, high reward move. It's not like you're tying in a ton of money to Ayton right off the bat. It's going to be for that full MLE. We're talking $14 million. And it'll be on an expiring contract. It'll be a 1-year deal. And, you go from there. If it works out, guess what? The Lakers have cap space available next summer where they can offer him a new deal, right? If it doesn't, then, hey, it is what it is. You wasted your MLE for a year on a guy, or you took a chance for a year on a guy. So also, if you get to February and it's not working out, then that's an expiring contract. You can move it. You can move off of him. So, however, I'm in the hopes that it will work out because he's 26 years old. So 26-year-old 7-footer who's averaging a double-double. He can, I think next to Luka, he can put up 20 a night. He can be a 20 and 12 guy a night, right? Again, there's things about his game that he has to improve on defensively. You want to see him buy in and play some defense. You want to see him stretch the floor a bit more, right? There's potential there, but you want to see that a little bit more. And his motor, you want to see him buy it in at all times. Like that was one of the things. He checks out. He's checked out a lot, but there's other things to that story. The way they were doing him in Portland, there was a lot surrounding around that, and then being in not Portland, in Phoenix before he went to Portland, right? He checked out there because they kind of checked out on him, and then you look at his time in Portland. They traded him to Portland. Portland was a tanking team. They weren't looking to win. He wants to be in a winning situation. So there's a lot that goes into that. But again, he's 26 years old. So this could be an opportunity for him to right that ship. Right is wrong. So let's see if the Lakers can get that done. And if so, that's major because no one saw a Deandre Ayton buyout coming. I think they looked to try to move him, but he was making $35 million. That's tough to move. In today's NBA with the CBA and all that, that's a difficult contract to move. So now being able to get him for a full MLE, that's a bargain. That's a steal. That's a risk worth taking, a risk that the Lakers have to take. And it could be a major blessing for this Lakers organization who's in desperate need of a center, having a 26-year-old fall in your lap. Someone that the Lakers also were potentially interested in was Dorian Sharp. Well, cross him off the board. He agreed to stay with Brooklyn. He opted out that the contract he was on, and he agreed to stay with Brooklyn on a 2-year, $12 million deal. So he's staying in Brooklyn for the time being, so you can cross him out. And that's just another guy off the market, right? So there's just not a lot of guys out there that's available. So having a 26-year-old Deandre Ayton fall in your lap, yeah, you definitely have to do that. So we'll see how that all plays out. The one thing about Deandre Ayton, he has to wait 48 hours to clear waivers. So I don't know if we'll get that news today that they signed him. It may be tomorrow. But the news has broken that there's going to be mutual interest from both sides there. Just the fact that he shares an agent with Luka, I think that they already talked. I don't think that Ayton opts out or agrees. I don't think Ayton agrees to a buyout if he didn't have something else already lined up. So if I had to put money on it, I think Deandre Ayton will be the Lakers' next center. I think that they'll sign him for their MLE. And yeah, that's what we're running with. And I like that a lot. Moving on to LeBron James, we know there was a lot of news surrounding LeBron. We know that he opted in to his player option last year, the final year of that player option. And we know everything that Rich Paul had said, his agent, about all signs kind of leaning towards or pointing towards LeBron possibly asking to be traded, right? If the Lakers didn't field a competitive roster, a roster that he agreed as competitive enough to win now. Yeah, I don't know, because word are coming out that there's just not a trade market for LeBron. $53 million. In order for a team to trade for him, they're going to have to give a lot of pieces to get that deal done. So I just don't know how many teams are willing to give up actual pieces. And then we're not talking about just anyone. We're talking about a contending team, right? So yeah. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see how that all plays out. But my guess is that LeBron will be on the Lakers to start the season. Now, as you push towards the trade deadline, who knows? That may change. I don't know. We'll see how it all plays out. But yeah, a lot of news coming out of Lakers land, and a lot more to come, right? We haven't even started free agency yet. So we're pushing closer and closer towards that, and there will be much more news. So make sure you guys are locked and loaded. My apologies for these silly dogs. It's time for them to eat, and they're just being very annoying right now. But anyways, yeah, very excited about today, about free agency and the Lakers, seeing what the Lakers do to field a contender as we enter into this season. There's a lot of work to be done, and the West is really deep. So the Lakers have to check some boxes, man. The West is really deep. They're getting deeper and deeper and deeper. We're not even talking about the teams that were already good. How about those teams at the bottom who missed out on the playoffs or missed out on the play-in? And so those teams like the San Antonio Spurs, they're getting Wemby back. They added a very good piece in the draft, and yeah, a very young, promising team. They're going to be a force. So that's another team that the Lakers have to worry about, and many others. Teams getting deeper and so on and so forth. OKC, the defending champions, they'll have another year of experience, right? And they'll be battle tested now after multiple Game 7s against the Denver, and then obviously in the finals. So they'll be battle tested. So they're going to grow. Yeah, the West is deep, bro. The West is deep. So the Lakers, Rob, we got some work to do. Let's get it done, and let's move forward an inch closer to 18. Let's go get 18, baby. Let's go get 18. All right, that's all I got for you. And one more note about the LeBron piece of it that we spoke about. My thoughts about that and what he said about Rich. Yeah, we all know that this is Luka's team. This is a Luka era. We have to build around Luka, and it's just two separate timelines now. The Lakers are looking to preserve their cap space for 2026, 2027, so they can fully build around Luka Doncic, right? So they may not be willing to throw everything in, to go get a trade. Another superstar to pair with LeBron and Luka to help LeBron win right now. I get it. LeBron, where he's at in his career, year 23, 41 years old. He doesn't have a lot of time, so he wants to win now, as he should. But at the same time, the Lakers have to make smart decisions where they can fully build around Luka, and preserving that cap space, that may be the route to go. So I get it. Before LeBron's timeline and the Lakers timeline, it may have been the same, right? But now it may be a little bit different. LeBron doesn't have a year to not go all in. He just doesn't have that where he's at in his career. But the Lakers, on the other hand, they may not be willing to just throw away a year to go all in if it means add murky water to their future, and if it means depleting assets that you could potentially use to build around Luka, right? Whether it be players or whether it's just draft picks or whether it's just cap space. The Lakers just aren't willing to. They're not willing to part ways with that, or willing to dilute that, if you will. They want to keep that as clean as possible. So I get it. And we just may have come to that time, that point in time, in this Lakers franchise where the two timelines no longer agree with one another or no longer work work, anymore. So it just is what it is, and that's totally fine because we have Luka Doncic, and that has to be our priority. Love LeBron. I want to see LeBron finish his career here in LA, but if not, it is what it is. So we'll talk more about that if we need to. Hopefully we don't have to. Hopefully the Lakers can go out and still field a roster that works now and still keep the cap space open for the future. That may be in a Deandre Ayton. That may be enough to help push the Lakers closer, to being a contender, and push the Lakers closer over. And then I just think time, just having a full offseason with Luka, LeBron, and Austin Reeves, I think that's going to make the Lakers better. We got Luka at the deadline, so you literally only had a couple of months to figure that out, all while you were trying to win. Now they'll have and compete in the playoffs. Now they'll have a full offseason, so the more reps and the more time they had to scheme and all that stuff. Those three minds mixed with JJ and the coaching staff, they're going to be better by default. But, if you can now have a legit center, a legit double-double guy, a 26-year-old Deandre Ayton, if you're able to drop him into the mix, that's we may be cooking with something there. So that may be enough to please LeBron. That may be enough to make the Lakers an even better contender, a top contender. We'll see. We'll see how it all plays out. Hopefully that's the case. But if not, of course, we'll be here to talk about it. Make sure you guys are locked and loaded, man. It's going to be a very fun afternoon, a very fun week. So if anything happens, we'll hop on here and we'll break it all down. I'll give you my immediate thoughts and reactions to it all. So make sure you guys stay tapped in right here at Lakers Over Everything. Purple and gold till we die. Purple and gold, we ride. I believe purple. My heartbeat's coded is and always will be Lakers Over Everything. Your boy LOE out. Peace.
He's still got it.
All my life, I've been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, gotta pay that. Pay the price. Can't be real, but I'm living the life. All my life, I've been grinding all my life. Lakers, baby. Yeah. You know what it is. Purple, yellow, purple, yellow, purple, yellow, purple, yellow. Yeah. You know what it is. Purple, yellow, purple, yellow, purple, yellow, purple, yellow. Yeah. You know what it is. Purple, yellow, purple, yellow, purple, yellow, purple, yellow. Yeah. You know what it is. Purple, yellow, purple, yellow, purple, yellow, purple, yellow. Yeah.
I'm a Laker till I die. Rest in peace, Chick Hearn.
93-70. This game's in the Admiral refrigerator. The door is closed. The lights out. Butter's getting hard. The eggs are cooling, and the Jell-O is jiggling. Been jiggling for a long time.
Mama didn't raise no failure. It's go hard and go home, I tell you. If you ever seen blood, sweat, tears leaking out of me, and you can hear my heart scream, it say, go Lakers, go